Hey coin collectors and treasure hunters. Welcome back to the BS Coins world. If you're someone who checks their spare change, this video is for you. Imagine finding a dime worth over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. Today we're talking about the 2021 Roosevelt dime and the possibility that one of these coins could be worth an incredible $1.1 million. Stay tuned, because you might just be holding a fortune without even knowing it. Let's dive in and learn why this coin could be so valuable, what to look for, and how you can spot a potential jackpot. First, a little history. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and it's been in circulation ever since. These dimes are typically made of a copper-nickel blend, with the P indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. But what makes the 2021 dime stand out from the rest? Here's where things get interesting. The 2021 dime is a standard Roosevelt dime? Or is it? It turns out that some rare variations of this dime are being reported, with rumors and speculation swirling in the coin collecting community. Experts believe certain 2021 dimes could have unique minting errors, misprints, or even rare die varieties that could make them extremely valuable, up to $1.1 million. But before we dive into what to look for, let's talk about the factors that make a coin reach this astronomical value. So, what makes a dime worth more than $1 million? Here are 3 key factors you need to know. Coins with rare features like minting errors command high prices. With the 2021 Roosevelt dime, experts believe that only a few coins might have these rare errors, making them incredibly sought after by collectors. A coin's condition is critical. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for dimes in pristine, mint state condition, meaning no scratches or wear marks. If your dime looks fresh from the mint, it could be worth significantly more. The biggest jackpot comes from errors. These are mistakes made during the minting process, like misaligned dies, double strikes, or even missing features. If your 2021 dime has any of these characteristics, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now, let's get to the important part. What should you look for on your 2021 dime? First, examine the coin closely for any visible minting errors. Use a magnifying glass to look for double dies, where letters or numbers appear duplicated. Also, check for off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned on the coin's surface. Sometimes coins are missing key details, like the mint mark or other design elements. If something seems off about your dime, it could be a rare variety. Die varieties happen when there are slight changes in the coin's design between batches. If your 2021 dime has an unusual variation, this could increase its value immensely. Once you think you've found a rare 2021 dime, the next step is getting it professionally appraised. Organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, can certify the authenticity and grade of your coin. This is critical to getting top dollar if you decide to sell. Collectors and auction houses are constantly on the lookout for rare coins, and having your 2021 dime certified will help you fetch the highest price. And who knows? It could be worth over $1 million. Could you imagine having a simple dime in your pocket that's worth $1 million? Well, if you have a 1988 dime, you might be holding on to something incredibly valuable. Stick around to find out why these seemingly ordinary coins could be worth a fortune. Before we dive into what makes these 1988 dimes potentially worth $1 million, let's first take a look at what these coins are all about. The 1988 Roosevelt dime was minted in Philadelphia, as denoted by the P mint mark. But here's the thing, not all 1988 dimes are created equal. Most are worth their face value, but a rare few have unique characteristics that can make them worth an eye-popping amount of money. So, what makes these dimes potentially worth $1 million? The secret lies in rare errors and variations that occurred during the minting process. These errors can sometimes be so subtle that they go unnoticed for years, only to be discovered by collectors later. For example, some 1988 dimes have rare double die errors, where the design is slightly doubled. This tiny mistake can make all the difference in value. If you find a 1988 P dime with a doubling error on Roosevelt's profile or on the lettering, you could be looking at a small fortune. But that's not the only thing to look for. There are also off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, and die cracks, which can greatly increase the coin's value. Let's take a look at some examples of 1988 P dimes that have fetched impressive prices at auctions. In 2019, a rare error 1988 P dime with a significant double die error sold for over $20,000. And experts believe that if a perfect condition, high-grade specimen with the right errors appears, it could easily fetch $1 million or more at auction. Now, you might be wondering, how do I find out if my 1988 P dime is worth a fortune? It's all about close inspection. Grab a magnifying glass or, better yet, a jeweler's loupe, and look for key details like doubling on Roosevelt's face, the year, or the lettering. Also, keep an eye out for misaligned strikes or any visible die cracks. These are signs that you could have a rare and valuable error coin. If you think you've found a valuable 1988 P dime, the next step is to have it professionally graded. Grading companies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, which is essential if you plan on selling it at auction. A high-grade coin in mint state condition with a rare error can significantly increase its value. Once your coin is graded, you can look into selling it through reputable auction houses or even online platforms that specialize in rare coins. Who knows? Your 1988 P dime could be the next one to make headlines with $1 million price tag. Imagine finding $1 million coin in your spare change. It might sound crazy, but with a rare error 1988 P dime, it's possible. So, check your dimes, inspect them closely, and you might just strike it rich. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins and hidden treasures, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more exciting coin hunting tips. We're diving into everything you need to know about the 1991 P dime, its rarity, what makes it so valuable, and how you can check if you're holding one. First, let's talk a little about the Roosevelt dime. Introduced in 1946, the Roosevelt dime was minted to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who played a pivotal role in leading the country through World War II. It's been a staple in American currency ever since, but not all dimes are created equal. So, what's so special about the 1991 P dime? Like most coins, millions were minted that year, but only a few rare errors exist, and these mistakes can make a dime like this one worth up to $1.2 million. Error coins are often struck with a flaw in the minting process, and collectors love error coins. But the 1991 P error dime is exceptionally rare due to a few very specific factors. First, look out for errors like missing mint marks or off-center strikes. Another factor is the appearance of double dies, which occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, creating a doubling effect that's highly sought after. Let's break it down. Here are a few types of errors to look out for on the 1991 P dime that could boost its value. These dimes were struck incorrectly, with the design appearing off-center. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin. This happens when the die impresses the coin twice, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering or the date. Zoom in on a dime without the P mint mark. Coins minted in Philadelphia usually bear a P mint mark, but if it's missing, you could be in luck. Some dimes were accidentally struck without the mint mark, and these can fetch a high price. Now, why is this dime worth $1.2 million? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are in exceptional condition, especially if they feature rare minting errors. One 1991 P dime with the right error, graded by professionals as near perfect, could sell at an auction for over $1 million. That's right, $1.2 million. So, how can you check if your 1991 P dime is worth a fortune? Here's what to do. Take a close look at the date, mint mark, and overall condition of the dime. A magnifying glass or coin loupe will help you spot errors more easily. Look for any signs of double strikes, missing mint marks, or off-center features. Pay special attention to the edges, lettering, and date. If you think you've found something special, have your coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Grading determines the coin's quality and authenticity, which can significantly impact its value. Some of the most famous 1991 p-dimes have been sold for incredible sums of money. In fact, one such coin with a unique minting error was auctioned for a record-breaking $1.2 million. That's why collectors are always on the lookout for these hidden gems. So, the next time you're digging through your spare change or emptying your coin jar, don't dismiss those dimes. Take a moment to check if you might be holding a rare 1991 p-dime. We're diving into a very special coin, the 2000p Roosevelt dime. Yes, you heard that right. This dime, originally worth just 10 cents, has gained the attention of collectors and investors, and some rare variations could be worth up to an astounding $1.4 million. So, stay tuned as we uncover the details and tell you exactly what to look for. Let's start with the basics. The 2000p Roosevelt dime was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Over 2 billion of these dimes were produced, so they're not rare by sheer number. But, like most coins, there are rare versions with minting errors, unique characteristics, and special conditions that can make them extremely valuable. It's these rare coins that can fetch hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars on the market. So, what makes a 2000p Roosevelt dime so valuable that it could be worth up to $1.4 million? Well, it comes down to a few key factors. First, minting errors. Collectors and coin enthusiasts love mint errors because they're unique. Imagine having a one-of-a-kind dime that no one else has. The rarest and most sought-after errors are things like off-center strikes, double dies, missing elements, or wrong planchets. One particular error that could increase the value of your 2000p dime involves a double die. This occurs when a coin's design is mistakenly struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect. If you come across a 2000p dime with this error, you could be looking at a small fortune. Another huge factor in determining the value of your dime is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale, with 70 being a perfect, uncirculated coin. If you find a 2000p dime in mint condition, that's MS65 or higher, the value skyrockets. A coin in pristine condition can be worth significantly more than a circulated one. This is why collectors are always on the lookout for coins that haven't been exposed to the elements or heavy use. If you find a 2000p dime that has a high grade and features a minting error, you might have just hit the jackpot. This combination of rarity and perfect condition is what drives that potential value of $1.4 million. Alright, now the big question. How do you spot one of these valuable dimes? First, pull out all your spare change and check for any 2000p Roosevelt dimes. You can easily spot the mint mark, the letter P, just above the date on the coin's obverse or front side. Next, examine the coin under a magnifying glass or use a jeweler's loupe to check for minting errors. Look closely for any signs of doubling, especially in the lettering or the portrait of Roosevelt. Off-center strikes or coins with a thicker edge could also signal a valuable error. If you think you found something unique, I recommend getting the coin graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A professional evaluation will help you confirm whether your coin is truly one of the rare few worth millions. Now, let's talk about the big numbers. While most 2000p dimes are only worth their face value or a small premium, the rare error coins in top condition have sold for thousands at auction. And if you're lucky enough to have a near-perfect specimen with a rare minting error, you could potentially see a value as high as $1.4 million. There are even rumors in the coin collecting world of ultra-rare versions being held in private collections that haven't surfaced at auction yet. But if they do, we could see record-breaking sales. We're diving into the mysterious and highly sought-after 1975 dimes that could make you a millionaire. Stick around as we reveal everything you need to know to spot this rare treasure, why it's so valuable, and how you can potentially cash in big time. Let's talk about dimes. Specifically, the 1975 Roosevelt dimes that have a value far beyond their face worth. In most cases, a 1975 dime would only be worth 10 cents. But there's a small and incredibly rare group of these coins that have skyrocketed in value, with one fetching as much as $1.8 million at auction. What makes this small coin so valuable? The key to this enormous value lies in a tiny detail, the mint mark. Normally, dimes produced at the San Francisco Mint in 1975 have an S mint mark. But due to an error, a very small number of proof dimes were minted without this mark, creating the infamous 1975 no S dime. Show a close-up of a normal 1975 dime with an S mint mark, then highlight the missing mint mark on the rare coin. Proof coins are specially made for collectors, and they usually have more detail and a shinier finish. But these particular 1975 proof dimes that were missing the S mark were never meant to leave the US Mint. Only 2 of these dimes are known to exist today, making them some of the rarest coins in the world. Flash images of the 2 known 1975 no S dimes with a spotlight effect on them. Cut to an image of a collector inspecting the coin with a magnifying glass. So why is this coin worth $1.8 million? The answer lies in rarity, demand, and history. The fact that there are only 2 of these coins known to exist makes them an incredibly valuable piece of numismatic history. When coins are this rare, collectors are willing to pay top dollar, or in this case, $1.8 million. Show footage of a major coin auction, with an auctioneer speaking quickly and prices rising on screen. The most recent sale of a 1975 no S dime occurred in 2019 at a heritage auction, where the coin sold for an astonishing $456,000. However, experts believe that if one of these coins were to hit the market again today, the price could easily soar to $1.8 million due to increasing demand among collectors. Now, how can you find one of these incredibly valuable dimes? The key is to carefully inspect any 1975 proof dimes that you come across. Remember, you are specifically looking for proof coins that are missing the S mint mark. Proof coins usually have a mirror-like finish and much more defined details than regular circulation dimes. Take a close look at the space on the coin where the mint mark should be. If there's no S, you could be holding onto a potential fortune. But be careful. These coins are extremely rare, so it's important to ensure you're looking at a true proof coin. If you believe you've found one, it's worth getting it authenticated by a professional grading service. So, what do you do if you think you've found a 1975 no S dime? First, do not clean or attempt to alter the coin in any way. Cleaning can actually lower its value. Instead, get in touch with a reputable coin grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. These organizations can verify the authenticity of your coin and provide an official grade, which will help maximize its value at auction. Once your coin is authenticated, consider reaching out to a major auction house. Heritage auctions and stacks bowers are great options for selling high-value coins. These auction houses specialize in rare coins and can help you get the highest possible price. We're diving into the world of 1969 Roosevelt dimes, one of the most sought-after coins that collectors are paying a fortune for. Imagine owning a coin that looks as ordinary as this. But in reality, it's a rare gem worth millions of dollars. Could your 1969 dime hold that kind of value? Let's find out together. First, let's talk about the history of the 1969 Roosevelt dime. This dime was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, and is part of the iconic Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, is featured on the coin as a tribute to his impact on the country and his work with the March of Dimes to fight polio. The 1969 dimes were made from a copper-nickel blend after the U.S. stopped using silver in dimes in 1965. This means most 1969 dimes aren't made of precious metal, making their potential high value all the more fascinating. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Why are collectors paying up to $1.3 million for certain 1969 dimes? What sets them apart from the regular dimes you might find in your spare change? Some of the most valuable dimes are error coins, those that were mistakenly minted with imperfections. For example, dimes with double-die errors or improper alignment can fetch a fortune at auctions. A 1969 dime with a prominent error, especially one involving the date or mint mark, can make the coin exponentially more valuable. Grading is crucial in the coin world. A 1969 dime that's in pristine condition, meaning it has barely any wear and maintains its original luster. Could be worth thousands or even millions. Coins graded by professionals at high levels like MS-67 or MS-68 are incredibly rare, and these high grades can drive the value sky high. As with all collectibles, rarity and demand play huge roles. There are a few known error coins from the 1969 D series that collectors are desperate to get their hands on. With the right error and in top condition, these dimes have fetched up to $1.3 million in auctions. Okay, now that you know why these dimes can be worth so much, let's talk about how you can spot one of these hidden treasures. The most valuable 1969 D dimes often have a double die error on the front of the coin, especially noticeable on the date, mint mark, or the word Liberty. Look for any signs of doubling. This error is what collectors dream of finding. Make sure to check for the D mint mark, indicating it was minted in Denver. A double strike on the mint mark itself could also boost the coin's value. Examine the condition of the coin. Does it have sharp details, clear edges, and minimal wear? The fewer scratches and imperfections, the more valuable the coin will likely be. For those who aren't sure, you can send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to find out its grade. Let's talk about the jaw-dropping sales of some of these rare coins. One specific 1969 D dime with a perfect double die error in pristine condition sold for a whopping $1.3 million at auction. That's right. An ordinary-looking dime that you might have passed over could have been worth more than $1 million. Imagine stumbling upon one of these while sorting through your pocket change. The key is knowing what to look for and being aware of the potential value. We dive deep into the world of coins worth big money. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that could be worth $1.1 million. It might sound unbelievable, but today we're talking about the 1987 Roosevelt dime that collectors are going crazy over. You won't want to miss this. Who knows? You might have this valuable dime sitting in your piggy bank right now. In today's video, we'll explore what makes this coin so special, why it could be worth millions, and how you can spot one that could change your life forever. Let's get started. Before we get into the specifics of the 1987 dime, let's take a quick look at the history of the Roosevelt dime. First introduced in 1946, this dime was created in honor of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who played a key role in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio. The dime has undergone several changes since its release, but the design has remained mostly the same. Roosevelt's portrait on the front or obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the back or reverse. It's a coin that's been in circulation for decades, and millions of people handle it every day. But not all Roosevelt dimes are created equal. Now, let's talk about the 1987 dime. On the surface, it looks just like any other dime minted that year. But as you know, in the coin world, small details can make a huge difference. The key here is not just the fact that it's a 1987 dime minted in Philadelphia, represented by the P mint mark. There's more to it than meets the eye. In most cases, these dimes are worth just their face value, 10 cents. But certain rare errors and perfect condition dimes from 1987 have caused a frenzy in the coin collecting world. So, what makes the 1987 dime worth $1.1 million? It's all about condition, rarity, and demand. The most valuable coins are those in flawless, mint state condition. Collectors are on the hunt for coins that are in MS-68 or higher condition. Basically, coins that look as pristine as the day they were minted. But that's not all. There are also error dimes from 1987 that have driven prices up dramatically. These could include double strikes, off-center strikes, and even missing mint marks. These rare errors are what turn a common coin into a gold mine for collectors. Okay, now that we've covered the background, let's talk about how you can identify a valuable 1987 dime. First, you'll want to check the condition. Does it look nearly flawless, with no major scratches or wear? If so, you might have a mint state coin on your hands. Next, you'll want to look for possible errors. One of the most famous 1987 dimes was struck twice, known as a double strike. Look closely at the edges of the coin for signs of an unusual or doubled image. Even minor errors can skyrocket the value. Finally, if you think you've got a potential million-dollar coin, it's worth getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These services will authenticate and grade your coin, giving you a solid idea of its true value. So, how do we know these dimes can be worth over $1 million? Let's look at some recent sales. In 2022, a 1987p Roosevelt dime in near-perfect condition sold for a whopping $1.1 million at auction. It was one of the rarest examples of this coin ever found. We explore rare coins that could change your life. Imagine finding a single dime that's worth $1.4 million. Sounds impossible, right? Well, today we're talking about the 1982p Roosevelt dime, a coin that's been making waves in the world of coin collectors. Could you be sitting on a fortune and not even know it? Stick around, because you might want to start checking your pocket change after this. Let's take a quick dive into the history of the 1982p Roosevelt dime. First minted in 1946, the Roosevelt dime has been a symbol of American pride and economy. But in 1982, something special happened. Due to a combination of factors, this year's dime, particularly those minted in Philadelphia, that's the P mint mark, became a coin worth watching closely. You see, the early 1980s were a time of transition for the U.S. Mint. In 1982, there were some major shifts, including changes in production techniques and metal composition. These factors, combined with some minting errors, resulted in some coins being produced with rare, unique characteristics, turning a common coin into a highly sought-after collectible. So, what makes the 1982p dime so valuable? It's not just any dime from that year. It's the dimes with minting errors that have driven collectors crazy. One of the most famous errors is the no mint mark variety. Usually, Philadelphia minted coins have a small P mark, but some of the 1982 dimes were accidentally minted without it. That small omission turned them into treasures. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. While the missing mint mark itself is rare, there are also other error varieties from this year, including off-center strikes and double dies. These errors make the coin even more valuable. So, how much is a 1982p dime worth? A standard 1982p Roosevelt dime, in circulated condition, is worth about its face value, 10 cents. But if you're lucky enough to have one of these rare error dimes, the price skyrockets. Collectors are willing to pay tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the condition of the coin. And for a mint condition, perfect error dime, well, that's where we're talking about the possibility of $1.4 million. These coins have sold for astonishing amounts at auctions, with one of the highest recorded sales going for over $1 million. That's right. A single dime can be worth more than a house or a luxury car. Alright, so how can you tell if your 1982p dime is one of the valuable ones? First, check for that missing mint mark. If your dime doesn't have the P on it, that's your first clue. But it's not just about the mint mark. Examine your dime for other errors like misaligned strikes, doubling of the design, or any unusual features. You might want to invest in a magnifying glass or even take it to a professional coin grader for confirmation. Grading is critical here. The higher the grade of your coin, the more valuable it becomes. Mint state dimes, especially those with no wear and tear, can fetch the highest prices. So, if you think you've got a gem, don't hesitate to get it professionally graded. So what are you waiting for? Go check your change, look through old piggy banks, and inspect those dimes. You could be holding onto a coin worth a small fortune. And if you think you've found one, make sure to get it authenticated and graded. We've got something exciting to talk about. The 2018 P1 dime coin. Could it really be worth $1.7 million? Stick around as we uncover the truth behind this modern coin and what makes it so special. First things first, let's break down what we're talking about. The 2018 P dime is a 10-cent coin minted in Philadelphia. Now, you might be wondering, how can a dime that was minted just a few years ago be worth over $1 million? Well, that's where things get interesting. Before we dive into the possibility of it being worth $1.7 million, let's talk a little bit about the 2018 P dime itself. It's part of the Roosevelt dime series, which has been in circulation since 1946. The coin features President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front, honoring his legacy and his efforts in establishing the March of Dimes Foundation. Each year, the U.S. Mint produces millions of these dimes for circulation, and the 2018 P-dime was no exception. So, what could possibly make a coin like this worth such an astronomical value? The answer lies in errors and rare varieties. When it comes to coin collecting, errors are what can make a regular dime incredibly valuable. Some coins with minting mistakes or variations are highly sought after by collectors. This could include things like off-center strikes, double-die errors, or missing design elements. Sometimes, these mistakes make their way out of the mint and into circulation, turning an ordinary coin into a rare find. In fact, there have been many examples of modern coins selling for big bucks at auction simply because of these kinds of errors. So, could the 2018 P-dime fall into this category? Now, let's get into the real question. Is there any truth to the claim that the 2018 P-dime could be worth $1.7 million? After some digging, we found that number 2018 P-dime has been sold for that kind of money, at least not yet. While it's possible that some error varieties or special cases may eventually become valuable, it's highly unlikely that a regular 2018 P-dime will reach such a sky-high value. Most 2018 P-dimes in mint condition are currently worth their face value or slightly more if they're in a collector's grade, like MS-65 or higher. You might see some selling for a few dollars on auction websites, but nothing close to millions. That being said, it's still worth keeping an eye out for rare varieties or errors. If you find a 2018 P-dime with any unusual characteristics, like a double die or a missing mint mark, you could be sitting on a coin worth far more than 10 cents. The best way to check is by carefully inspecting your coin under magnification and comparing it to known errors in the coin collecting community. Remember, condition matters too. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition fetch the highest prices. So if you've got a coin that looks fresh out of the mint, it might be worth having it professionally graded. Speaking of grading, if you think your 2018 P-dime might be special, you can send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give your coin an official grade, which could increase its value significantly if it's deemed rare or in top condition. Graded coins are often more appealing to serious collectors, and that could help you fetch a higher price if you decide to sell your dime down the road. So, is the 2018 P-dime worth $1.7 million? The short answer is no, and not yet. Anyway. But that doesn't mean it's not worth keeping an eye out for. Who knows what errors or varieties might surface in the future? And if you're lucky enough to find one, it could be worth a lot more than you think.